lecture is anti-tuberculous drug. Okay, we divide into two lectures, lecture 1 and lecture 2. Today we will discuss the anti-tuberculous drug 1. As you know, the tuberculosis is a chronic infectious disease that is caused by the lower respiratory tract infection that mainly involve the lungs. And the mycobacterium infection, they require prolonged treatment because the tuberculosis is a chronic infection. It consists of excessive fibrous tissues with central necrosis. Lesion is decreased. That's why we give in the combination drug, not we give the single drug. Okay, now today the objectives of the lecture is you have to know the classification of the drug. Okay, what are the drug? We classify into two types of drug: first line therapy and second line therapy. Second, what are its pharmacokinetics and what is the mechanism of action? What are the clinical uses, side effect, and adverse effect of a drug, and drug interaction. Now the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, that is caused by, and we divide into two, atypical and typical. The others said they produce the symptom, but they are not affect the lungs. So Mycobacterium avium complex, these are the atypical type of the Mycobacteria. Second, I have told you in the start that the Mycobacterium produce chronic infectious disease, and that there are two, tuberculosis and leprosy, and which is very difficult to treat because it forms the fibrous tissues. And drug is very difficult to enter into the organism. So the Mycobacteria is a very slow growing animal, slow growing bacteria. They may remain dormant in the host for a long period and remain alive inside the macrophages of the bacteria. So many antibacterial drugs are used. That's why, because single drug do not enter or penetrate in the cell wall of the Mycobacteria. And I have also called us the very agile or a chalak in the developing the resistance when we use as a single agent. So that's why we use in the combination. And it requires prolonged treatment, many months and year for multiple drugs. What are the causative organisms? You know, the tubercle bacilli, important human pathogens are the Mycobacterium tuberculosis and Mycobacterium bovis. And the atypical, they do not affect the lung. They are present in the soil, but they not produce the lung actions, affect the lungs. So that is the Mycobacterium avium, Kansasi, Mycobacterium fortuitum, and Mycobacterium marinum. They affect the cause, produce the disease, but they do not affect the lungs. So that's why we call it as atypical. They are present in the environment, sands. And transmission, how it transfer? Through the cough. They enter into the other human body. And they can cause the infection through droplet infections. The mode of transmission is droplet. And these are the bacteria, they produce a serious infection on the lungs. Mainly that involve the lung, it also involves the intestine, meninges, skin, and the urinogenital tract. But the principal site is the lungs. And when it is spread, they produce the chronic fulminating forms of tuberculosis, and they involve can cause the pneumonia, or we also call it as miliary tuberculosis. It means they affect the one organ, they also involve the other organ. So the hematogenous route, but it is a rare condition. Mainly the principal site is the lung. In developing country, it is controlled, but it is still common in the developing countries like the Pakistan, where the leading cause of the death. And increasing patient who have an immunocompromised, that is the AIDS patient is. And this is the side where it affects. And what are the clinical features? The patient came to you with malaise, anorexia, fatigue, and weight loss. Malaise means patient feel uneasiness, uncomfortable, and anorexia, loss of appetite, fatigue, weight loss, and mainly the low-grade fever, night sweat. These are the main clinical features when you compare with the other patients. And cough with purulent, it means pus forming, sputum, and enlarge of the supraclavicular lymph node. These are the clinical features of tuberculosis. And how you diagnose? By the chest X-ray, PA view. Second, we have to do the sputum staining for acid-fast bacilli. This is the acid-fast bacilli. This is the bacilli that cause the tuberculosis. So how you diagnose? By the chest X-ray, PA view, sputum test, staining for the acid-fast bacillus. Now the treat the patient. Treatment of the tuberculosis very complex. It means we treat by 2 or more than 2 drugs. Otherwise, it produces a resistance. That's why we use in 2 or more drugs. And the treatment should be continued for 6 to 9 months. In uncomplicated cases of the pulmonary tuberculosis, and if the patient came with a complication, so we require 18 to 24 months. It means the uncomplicated case, patient we give the 6 to 9 months, and the complicated with patient came to with the complications, so we give the treatment therapy for 18 to 24 months. As we know in the start of the lecture, we have discussed the classification. So we divide into 2 forms of the therapy. First line, or we call it as standard drug. First line or standard drug, it consists of 4 drugs. Number 1 is the isoniazid. Second, rifampin, or we also call it a rifampicin. Third is the ethambutol. Fourth is the pyrazinamide. In this we add 1 antibiotic, is the pyridoxine. The 4th drug, and 5th one is the streptomycin. The difference between these two nowadays is not used due to its toxic or adverse effect, but in some cases, resistant cases, we give streptomycin, the isoniazid, rifampin, or ethambutol, pyrazinamide, and streptomycins. We call it as first line or standard drug. And the second line, or we call it as reserve drug. They are the para-aminosalicylic acid, ethionamide, cycloserine, capreomycin, aminoglycoside, and they again is the group of the drug including the kanamycin, amikacin, and rifabutin, quinolones, moxifloxacin, and getafloxacin. So now you understand, we divide the drug into two groups. First line therapy, or we call it as standard drug, and the second line drug, or we call it as reserve drug. First line, the isoniazid, amino-salicylic acid, ethionamide, cycloserine, capreomycin, aminoglycoside, kanamycin, amikacin, rifabutin, and the quinolones groups, moxifloxacin, and the getafloxacin. Now, the difference between the first line and the second line therapy is the first line drug, they are cheap, more effective, and routinely used, and least toxic. It means that they are cheap, more effective, routinely used, and least toxic. When you compare with the second line therapy, they are more toxic. Second line, and expensive. So now the first one drug is the isoniazid. It is a highly effective and most widely used anti-tuberculous drug. Highly effective. Tuberculocidal activity. It means they kill the bacteria. And it is active against both the intracellular and extracellular bacilli. It is a first line drug to treatment used for the treatment of tuberculosis. And it is also used for the chemoprophylaxis of the tuberculosis. The mechanism of action is the isoniazid. It is a prodrug. And they inhibit the biosynthesis of the mycolic acid. And you know, the mycolic acid is the essential component of the bacterial cell wall, mycobacterial cell wall. I have told you it is a prodrug. When it enters into the mycobacteria, they convert it into its active form. And one of the enzymes that is necessary that convert it into active form is the catalase peroxidase enzyme that is present in the bacteria. They convert the isoniazid into its active the isoniazid to its active metabolite, and this active metabolite they inhibit the synthesis of the mycolic acid, and this way there is no cell wall, so bacteria is killed or can cause the death of the bacteria. So this is the mechanism of action of the isoniazid. Understand? And second, enter into the cell wall, and the product convert into its active form, and the enzyme is at catalase peroxidase, and they can cause active convert into the active compound, and that active compound they inhibit the synthesis of mycolic acid, and resulting there is no mycolic acid, so can cause the death of the cell wall, and especially that occur in the rapidly growing bacteria. They are rapidly multiply. And another important point, the property of the acid fastness of the mycobacteria is lost when exposed to the isoniazid. So drug has a tuberculocidal activity for the growing tubercle bacilli, and it has a both property, tuberculocidal and tuberculostatic. And the bacteria, those bacteria that are resting state, it has a bacteriostatic effect. Yeah, it means they inhibit the growth of the bacteria. It has both property. They effect on both rapidly growing bacteria and in resting then resistance. Now the pharmacokinetics, how drug is absorbed. I have told you it is given orally to rapidly absorb from the gut and distributed well in all over the body. Tubercle cavities, body fluid like CSF, it also crosses the placental barrier, and they also penetrate the gaseous material that is formed. Metabolized by acetylation process. You know the acetylases come under the heading of when you will when you have learned the metabolism, general pharmacology. You know the metabolism is two type of type 1, or you can say the phase 1 and phase 2 reaction. Phase 1 is the non-synthetic and phase 2 is the synthetic, and they consist of conjugation, acetylation process. So they metabolize phase 2 metabolism, or we call it acetylation process. So drug acetylated, where it is acetylated in the liver, 75-95% of the dose is excreted in the urine. After metabolism, it is excreted to the urine. Mostly act as a metabolites. So you know there are two type of metabolite acetylator are present in the word: slow acetylator and fast acetylator. It is controlled by the enzyme. So slow acetylator patients, and it is controlled by the pharmacogenetics. It means gene is controls. The slow metabolizer, the patient who have a slow acetylator have more prone to develop the side effect as compared to the fast acetylator, because the slow acetylator do not completely metabolize the acetylated drug. Then to the is 1 to more than 4 hours. Plasma harm in the blood is prolonged the patient who have a hepatic insufficiency, because the drug is metabolized in the liver. If the function is not properly working, the drug, in that case, there is a half-life is increased. So before prescribing, you have to know the condition, hepatic functions of the body you observe. So this is the pharmacokinetics. Now the resistance. It means the drug do not produce effect. Drug can produce tolerance, inability to metabolize and perform its actions. The major problems of the anti-tubercular therapy is the production of the resistance. And this resistance can occur when the patient have used only one drug. That's why prescribe combination of drugs. Resistance or tolerance of the drug. The most common mechanism of isoniazid resistance is the mutation in the CAT gene, gene that is controlled by this enzyme, catalase peroxidase. If there is a mutation, the CAT genes, this enzyme cannot be convert the product into the active drug and perform its action. So the patient who have a mutation, catalase peroxidase, that decrease its activity. To prevent the bacteria have prevent the conversion of product into its active metabolites. So what is the most common mechanism of the isoniazid to produce the resistance is mutation in the CAT gene. And you know, I have told you the function of the CAT gene is record the enzyme catalase peroxidase, and this enzyme in the bacteria that convert the isoniazid into active metabolites, and this active metabolite they perform its actions. If there is a mutation can occur in this gene, So drug do not convert into active form due to the decreased activity of this enzyme and perform its action and do not perform in action. In this way, the patient may develop the resistance to isoniazid, or you can say the failure of the drug. Another important point is the failure of the drug. The drug do not enter into the body or the bacteria. So how they kill the bacteria? Another important point, no cross resistance can occur. If the one drug that can produce the tolerance, it doesn't mean the other drug can produce the tolerance they perform. That's why we give in the combinations. So no cross resistance can occur between isoniazid, rifampin, ethambutol, and other anti-TB drug. It means the one drug can produce tolerance or resistance, so it doesn't mean the other drug can produce, so can use safely. Pharmacokinetic we have discussed. The side effects. The side effect of the isoniazid, most common side effect is the hepatotoxicity and peripheral neuritis. Hepatotoxicity and peripheral neuritis. So, and another is the hypersensitivity reaction. The patient may develop the fever, eruptions, hepatitis, and also effect in the bone marrow. The patient may develop the agranulocytosis, thrombocytopenia, anemia, eosinophilia. But the most common is the peripheral neuritis and hepatitis. And this peripheral neuritis can occur due to the deficiency of the toxins. And it is a dose is structurally similar to the pyridoxine. Hence, isoniazid competitively interfere with the utilization of the pyridoxine. It also promotes the excretion of pyridoxine. So peripheral neuritis is the most common in slow acetylate patient. So to how you prevent the peripheral neuritis? By giving with pyridoxine. That's why we add one more drug in the first line therapy is the pyridoxine. What are the first line therapy? Isoniazid, rifampin, ethambutol, streptomycin, and pyridoxine to counter effect of the isoniazid, that is the peripheral neuritis. And the second important is the hepatotoxicity. Hepatic damage is more common in the patient who have a chronic alcoholic or older people and rapid acetylators. But it is a reversible on discontinuation of the drug. But is reversible on discontinuation of the drug. And another, the patient have a flu-like symptoms. That is the anorexia, nausea, vomiting, and jaundice. So what are the side effects of the isoniazid? That is the most common is the hepatotoxicity, peripheral neuritis, and the hypersensitivity. And it also affect the hematological reaction, that is effect on the bone marrow. The patient may have developed the agranulocytosis, thrombocytopenia, and how patient present with the peripheral nutrition came to you with insomnia, restlessness, muscle twitching, convulsion, and psychotic episode. So how we prevent the peripheral neuropathy? By giving the pyridoxine supplement, vitamin B6. If the patient accidentally taken the isoniazid overdoses, so that can be used by giving the pyridoxine, act as an antidote. And drug interaction. And again, the neuropathy is the most frequent in solo acetylator. The patient who have a immunocompromised diabetes, mellitus, and the poor nutrition anemia. So how you observe the hepatotoxicity by doing the LFT functions. And the hepatitis can occur 4 to 8 weeks after the start of the therapy. And you know what are the symptoms of the hepatitis? Patient may come to you with jaundice or abnormal liver function tests. In that case, either must be discontinued. The drug interactions with the isoniazid inhibit the metabolism of other drugs. That is the phenytoins, carbamazepine, warfarin. They inhibit its metabolism. So resulting what will happen? It increase the plasma levels of these drugs and produce the toxicity. So what are the drug interactions? Phenytoin, carbamazepine, warfarin. They inhibit enzyme inhibitor, isoniazid. So they inhibit the metabolism of this drug, phenytoin, carbamazepine, warfarin. And when any drug the metabolism is inhibited, they remain in the body and perform its toxicity. And drug must be given or used with caution in patients who have a hepatic insufficiency or epilepsy, because phenytoin has a drug interaction. So before giving or prescribe to the patient, you first know the history of the patient, drug history or disease history. Then you prescribe. So you should know what are the drugs they interact, because these are the narrow spectrum drug. And what are the clinical uses of the isoniazid? It is used for the treatment of tuberculosis with other anti-tuberculous drug combination. And it is also used for the prevention or prophylaxis of TB, to prevent the TB. So this is the main clinical uses. And second important drug is the rifampin, or we also call it as rifampicin or rifampicin. It is a semi-synthetic derivative of the rifamycin. It is the first line antituberculous drug, and it is rapidly kill the bacteria, intracellular and extracellular bacilli. Because the mycobacterium is a bacilli, it kills the bacilli. So what are the antibacterial spectrum? They are effective against, they are also effective against the gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria such as Staphylococcus, E. coli, Pseudoproteus, Klebsiella. In the start, I have told you what the difference between typical and atypical. Typical is the atypical, they do not affect the lungs. These are the organism, they produce infection, but they are not mycobacterium tuberculosis bacilli. The rifampicin is the bactericidal for both intracellular and extracellular organism. When you compare with the isoniazid have both property, bactericidal and bacteriostatic. Bacteria for the rapidly growing, and that are in the resting, they act as a bacteriostatic. But the rifampicin is the bactericidal. They kill the bacteria, tubercle bacilli. And the mechanism of action is the rifampicin bind to the bacterial DNA. Rifampicin bind with the bacterial DNA dependent RNA polymerase enzyme, and they inhibit the rifampicin bind to the bacterial DNA dependent RNA polymerase enzyme, and this way they inhibit the RNA synthesis. It is a bactericidal effect against the mycobacterium. It also has a bactericidal effect against the mycobacteria, meningitis, Haemophilus influenzae, aureus, E. coli, and Pseudomonas. But the human RNA polymerase is not affected in the lower drug concentration. So what is the mechanism of action? Rifampicin bind with the DNA, bacterial DNA. They bind with the DNA, bacterial DNA dependent RNA polymerase enzyme in the mycobacteria, and this, and because you know that this enzyme is responsible for the leading of the suppression of the chain formation, the RNA synthesis. So simply they bind with the bacterial DNA, depend the RNA polymerase, and enable the RNA synthesis. So there is no formation of protein. And you know the protein is necessary for the synthesis of the bacterial cell wall. The human RNA polymerase is not effective in the lower drug concentration, not effective. Have no effect on the human RNA, but they only effect on the bacterial RNA, mycobacterial RNA. Resistant. I have told you in the start, the isoniazid is also develop the resistance, and the rifampicin also use the develop the resistant mean tolerance when used alone. That's why most of the antibacterial drug can given in the combination with other antituberculous drug. Resistant that can occur at due to the alteration polymerase. Alteration can act on the how the drug they bind with this enzyme. If there is a alteration, if they do not bind, then they do not perform its action. So that's why we can be called as the resistant may develop, or you can say the tolerance can develop due to alteration in the DNA dependent RNA polymerase because of the mutation or change in the gene. Now the pharmacokinetics, okay, how the drug is absorbed, metabolized, and excreted out. The rifampicin is well absorbed after oral administration. It is excreted mainly in the liver into the bile, and then it undergo the enterohepatic circulation. Those drugs that are excreted enter the bile, they undergo enterohepatic circulations because when you compare with the isoniazid, they are excreted in urine, while the rifampicin, they are excreted in feces, and a small amount of drug is excreted in the urine. And it is widely distributed. Rifampicin is the widely distributed in the body like the isoniazid. It is also present in effective concentration in many body fluid, including CSF. What are the side effects? Or you can say the adverse effect of the side effect and adverse effect of the rifampicin is generally well tolerated. Given orally, most common side effect is the skin rashes, fever, nausea, and vomiting. But the most notable problem, they can cause the jaundice due to the hepatitis. Every drug of the antitubercular drug can develop the jaundice. But in this case, the when you compare with the isoniazid, the most common problem is the peripheral neuropathy. But here, the most common problem is the hepatitis, and especially the patient who have old age, and those who have chronic alcoholic and chronic liver disease. Again, the hepatitis can occur when used alone, when in combination with the isoniazid. The hepatitis is decreases. When used alone, it can cause the hepatitis. And hepatitis, rifampicin also produces the flu-like syndrome, that is the eosinophilia, interstitial nephritis, thrombocytopenia, hemolytic anemia. It also can cause the fatigue, drowsiness, headache, muscle weakness, and drug again cross the placenta, to contraindicated in pregnancy. That's why it have a teratogenic effect is less, not known, to best avoided. It means the drug process can produce. It's best avoided during pregnancy. It also produces the GIT symptoms, nausea, vomiting, abdominal discomfort, and the uses. What are the uses? Rifampicin is used in with and other antituberculous drug. Why we use? To delay or decrease the resistance. It is also used in patients who have a meningococcal carrier state. It is used in the patient who have a staphylococcus infection, Haemophilus influenzae. It is used rifampicin. So mainly it is used to treat the tuberculosis. It is also used in meningococcal infections, staphylococcus, Haemophilus influenzae, and the drug is not effective in malaria, not used in malaria. And again, the drug interactions. Rifampicin is also a potential microsomal enzyme inducers, while so they reduce the metabolism of the other drug, such as oral contraceptive, oral anticoagulant, oral antidiabetic drugs, HIV, NNRTS. It means they are enzyme inducer. So they rapidly metabolize this drug. The actual effect is not produced. Pharmacological effect is not produced. That's why so you should know the drug interaction. In this semester, drug interaction is very important. Ask in the Viva VOC or come, many questions come in BCQs. So you should know the drug and its drug interaction. So rifampicin is a potent microsomal enzyme inducer. They reduce the metabolism level of other drugs such as oral contraceptive. It means they can cause the contraceptive failure. Oral anticoagulants, that is the warfarin, oral antidiabetic drugs, and non-nucleoside reverse transcript inhibitor. It also induces its metabolism. It means the enzyme inducers, while the rifampicin is the enzyme inhibitor.
हेलो मैम।
दूसरी वाली खोलनी थी,
अच्छा
वो खोल रही है शायद, मुझे मैंने गलत कर दिया
है, आपने स्लाइड वो बंद कर दी है, शेयर बंद कर दिया। आसपास है कोई आईटी पर्सन?
नहीं, बुला के लाना पड़ेगा, बुला के ला रही, एक मिनट, वही गड़बड़ कर दी, बता के गए थे, एक मिनट आ रही मैं। लो आवाज आ रही है? अरे भी कैसे
यस
पता
मैम,
चलेगा? आ रही
यस मैम आ रही है, स्लाइड भी आपकी आ गई थी।
आ गई ना?
कंटिन्यू।
ओके, थैंक यू. Okay, so we up till now we have discussed the two drug, isoniazid and rifampin, and the third one is the ethambutol. Ethambutol drugs. So they are used to treat the tuberculosis, ineffective against the other bacteria. They only suppress the growth of isoniazid and rifampin resistant mycobacteria. The patient who have developed the resistance with the isoniazid and streptomycin, so they are also ineffective against other bacteria. It is a tuberculostatic drug. Tuberculostatic drug. It means they inhibit the growth of the mycobacteria. Exact mechanism of action is not known. It is suggested many that inhibit the incorporation of the mycolic acid into the mycobacterium cell wall. But in some book, it is also some book it can inhibit the incorporation of the mycolic acid into the mycobacterium cell wall. In some book, it can said that they inhibit the arabinosoil transferase enzyme that are involved in the mycobacterial cell wall synthesis. So what is the mechanism? They inhibit the enzyme. Which one? Arabinosoil transferase that involved in the mycobacterial cell wall synthesis. I have told you it is a bacteriostatic. So they inhibit the growth of the bacteria. Again, it is used in the combination of with other drug to prevent the development of resistance. And again, there is a no cross resistance can develop with other antitubercular. Cross resistance means if one drug they develop the resistance, it doesn't mean the other antitubercular they also develop the resistance. So no cross resistance can develop. From the GIT and drug are excreted largely unchanged in the urine and distributed widely in the body, metabolized in the liver, cross the blood-brain barrier, in the meninges and excreted in your urine, and excreted in the urine. So it means meningitis can given. So what is the mechanism of action of the ethambutol? They inhibit the enzyme arabinosoil transferase that is involved in the mycobacteria cell wall synthesis. And the drug does not develop the resistance when used alone. Okay, it is well absorbed after oral administration, distributed widely in the body, metabolized in the liver, and crosses the blood-brain barrier. They are effective against the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, Mycobacterium sensaceae. They are effective only all the strain of the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, but it has no effect on the other bacteria. Suppress the growth of the most isoniazid and streptomycin resistant tubercle bacilli. The patient who have developed resistance to the isoniazid and the streptomycin, this drug, they suppress the growth of the tubercle bacilli. And when you compare with the development of the resistance, ethambutol develop resistance very slowly. So isoniazid develop resistance more rapidly because I have told you there is a gene, CAT gene. There is a mutation. This is the reason. What are the side effects? Observe in less than 1% patient receiving daily doses of the recommended dose of the 15 milligrams. The side effect, but the most common from use people, you have to know the side effect. The most common side effect, the most common question asked in the Viva C or in the BCQs. So you should know the ethambutol is the optic neuritis. And also to before prescribing the the test visual acuity and red and green discrimination. Prior to start of the therapy, you test the visual acuity and red green discrimination test should be performed to the start of therapy and during the therapy. And they depend upon the dose. Optic neuritis, incidence of the optic neuritis is proportional should be observed. And another important side effect is the ethambutol therapy. They increase the uric acid levels. So should be given cautionly with the gout patient, ethambutol, because they increase the uric acid level. The drug can be produce rashes, skin rashes, fever, GIT upset, joint pain. So optic neuritis is the most common side effect. The clinical uses of the ethambutol is used with other antituberculous drug for the treatment of tuberculosis and single daily dose. And the fourth drug is the streptomycin. Nowadays, it's not used clinically, but it's the first clinical available drug for the treatment of tuberculosis. Was the first drug to treat the tuberculosis. And you know the streptomycin is an aminoglycoside, it's a protein synthesis inhibitor. Nowadays, it is the least used. The most drug can come in the market because or it has the most serious side effect and ototoxicity. It is a bactericidal. It does not kill the tubercle. So drug is not absorbed through the oral route. That's why it is given parenterally or mainly the IM. In first line therapy, one drug is streptomycin is the only drug that is given IM, while the four is given by I oral. Again, the similar, the bacteria can develop the resistance when streptomycin used alone. So it is limited. Nowadays, it is not used. It is limited use in severe infection. It is given on very severe infections. So nowadays, it is not used due to serious adverse effect. That is the auto in CV. It is a protein synthesis inhibitor. And the can discontinue 2 to 3 months. Culture is negative. The last drug is the pyrazinamide. Pyrazinamide. Like the isoniazid, it is also a product. You know what is product? You know, it is an inactive drug. When we take, it is inactive drug. When enter into the body or the bacteria, it converts into the active drug. So it is a product. Isoniazid is also product. It converts into the pyrazinoic acid by the enzyme act pyrazinoidase. They convert into the pyrazinoic acid. And it is also a synthetic analog of the nicotinamide. It is a tuberculocidal drug, both extracellular and intracellular tubercle. Exact mechanism of action is not known, like the ethambutol. It has a tuberculocidal activity And again, they inhibit the synthesis of the mycolic acid by synthesis, but the different mechanism. But exact mechanism is not known. They have a bacterial cell wall synthesis inhibitor. And when patient have taken orally, they are well absorbed, widely distributed in the body. It is metabolized in the liver, and metabolites are excreted in urine. It again crosses the blood-brain barrier. So including CSF, widely distributed. It is metabolized in the liver, excreted in the urine. But its cell wall, mycolic acid, orally well absorbed. This is the pharmacokinetic from the GIT and distributed widely throughout the body, including the CSF. It means it can cross the blood-brain barrier. The mechanism of action is a prodrug and enter into the bacteria, and bacteria they converted into the pyrazinoic acid. Enzyme is that pyrazinoidase. Exact, I have told you the exact mechanism is not known, but it is decrease the mycolic acid synthesis. Antibacterial activity, I have told you it is a tuberculocidal drug. It means they inhibit the both extracellular and intercellular tubercle bacilli. Is the mycobacteria, atypical is other than bacteria. Now the resistance. Again, resistant means tolerance. Again, when patient have taken alone, they develop the resistance. And what will happen resistant? The drug do not convert it into an active form. So how they produce its action? The failure of the conversion of product into active drug. No cross resistance can occur with the other anti-tuberculous drug. No cross resistance. I have told you all the anti-tuberculous drug cannot develop the cross resistance. Mean one drug they develop the tolerance. It doesn't mean the other drug develop the tolerance. That's why to prevent the tolerance or resistance, we give in the combination. This is the reason we give the combination of the drug. Pharmacokinetic. Pyrazinamide is well observed after oral administration. Taken orally, it is well observed and widely distributed on the body. Tissue penetration into the CSF is excellent. They cross the present blood-brain barrier. And where it is metabolized in the liver and metabolite are excreted in urine. Half-life is not too much important, but you should know 9 to 10 hours. Now the side effects. Major side effect of the pyrazinamide is the hepatotoxicity, nausea, vomiting, fever, increased uric acid, like the ethambutol. Ethambutol can also increase the uric acid. So ethambutol and pyrazinamide increase the uric acid. So before prescribing, you should ask the patient history and should be given carefully. The patient who have a gout, not given, but they control the uric acid. And the uses, it is used in the combination with other anti-tuberculous drug, once a daily dose. And side effect, I have told you the hepatotoxicity, nausea, vomiting, and increased uric acid. So what are the major side effects? Hepatotoxicity, nausea, vomiting, increased uric acid. And also given before meal. Food interact its absorption, so given before meal in divided doses. Can be given. Alone resistance can develop when given alone. So that's why all the anti-tuberculous drug can given in the combination. No cross resistance can develop. So here we have finished the first line therapy. So what are the first line therapy? 4 drugs. And we also called as standard drug. Isoniazid, rifampin, ethambutol, pyrazinamide, and streptomycin. The streptomycin, is the only drug for use parenterally, while the other drug use orally. So why we called as the first line drug? Because standard drug, it is orally effective, and the cheap drug, orally effective, more effective, routinely used, least toxic effective when you compare with the other drugs. Isoniazid, rifampin, ethambutol, pyrazinamide. Okay. And one more drug is that I have told you, the pyridoxine, because the isoniazid, they inhibition of the pyridoxine. To prevent the pyridoxine deficiency or prevent the peripheral neuritis, we give peripheral neuropathy, we give the pyridoxine, vitamin B6. Asked in the Vivos, important questions. So why we give the pyridoxine? It is a vitamin. What its use? So you should know what is the reason of giving the pyridoxine. So what is the mechanism of action of the isoniazid? They inhibit the biosynthesis of the mycolic acid. And you know the mycolic acid is a very essential constituent of the bacterial cell wall. There are 2 drugs. They are the products. So isoniazid is a product. When it enters into the bacteria, it converts into the active form. And this active form, they inhibit the synthesis of mycolic acid. And what was the one of the enzyme, the catalase peroxidase. The isoniazid into the active drug, and they perform its action. And this is the enzyme that is controlled by the gene CAD gene. So whenever there is a mutation can develop in the CAD gene, so they develop the resistance. The resistance of the developing the isoniazid is the mutation in the CAD genes. And what are the important side effects? What are the important? I have told you the most important is the hepatotoxicity and peripheral neuropathy. So hepatotoxic, it can cause the hepatic damage, especially the patient who have a chronic alcohol, older people, and rapid acetylator. Peripheral, it is again a dose-related toxicity. Why? Because the isoniazid is structurally similar to the pyridoxine. So hence, isoniazid competitively interfere with the utilization of pyridoxine. And second important point, it also promotes the excretion of the pyridoxine. And especially it is common in the slow acetylator, because this drug is metabolized by in the liver phase 2 reaction, acetylation process, and this is under the genetic control, pharmacogenomic controls. So especially the peripheral neuropathy can develop patient who have a slow acetylator. They metabolize the drug slowly. And the other side effects are the skin rashes, arthralgia, and the GIT disturbances. And again, the drug interaction is common. With the isoniazid, I have told you the phenytoin, carbamazepine, warfarin, they are this enzyme. So resulting there is a decreased level. Drug do not metabolize, drug remain in the body. It means that they increase the plasma levels and produce toxicity. And the second drug is the rifampin, or we call it as rifampicin. It is a derivative of rifamycin. Again, the first line drug given orally, it kills the bacteria, especially the intracellular and extracellular. And mechanism of action is the rifampicin bind to the bacterial DNA-dependent RNA polymerase. And in this way, they inhibit the RNA synthesis. It has a bactericidal effect against mycobacteria, meningitis, Haemophilus influenzae, aureus, E. coli, Pseudomonas. And the pharmacokinetics, it is its absorption, distributed throughout the body and metabolized in the liver. And it is used to treat the tuberculosis, it is used to treat the leprosy, meningococcal Haemophilus infection, Haemophilus meningitis, it is used. Adverse effect is the hepatitis and flu-like symptoms. And it is a potent microsomal enzyme inducers, while the isoniazid is the enzyme inhibitor, and this is the enzyme inducers. So drug interaction with oral contraceptive, oral anticoagulant, oral anti-diabetic, HIV protease inhibitor, and the non-nucleotide reverse transcriptase inhibitor. And third is the streptomycin. It is a aminoglycoside antibiotic, and you know it is a protein synthesis inhibitor. That is bactericidal drug. It is active against both extracellular and intracellular organisms. And but the dose is route of administration different. It is given intramuscularly, but it produces a serious adverse effect, that is ototoxicity and nephrotoxicity and the neuromuscular blockade. That's why it is nowadays not used. But it is a first drug of the antituberculous drug. Nowadays it is not used. It is used in severe cases. And the fourth one is the pyrazinamide. It is a synthetic analogs of nicotinamide, active drug. It is a tuberculocidal drug like isoniazid, pyrazinamide. Again, the mechanism of action, they inhibit the mycolic acid biosynthesis, but the mechanism is different. It is given orally, absorbed well from the GIT and distributed throughout the body, including CSF. It is metabolized in the liver and excreted in the urine. And the most important adverse effect of the pyrazinamide is a
Hello, ma'am.
hyperuricemia, or you can say the uric acid level, hepatotoxicity.
Hello, ma'am.
It should not be given the patient who have a gout, because they precipitate the gout. Another side effect, nausea, vomiting, fever, and skin rashes. And the last, the ethambutol. Again, it inhibits the enzyme arabinosyl transferase.
Hello,
that
ma'am.
involved in the mycolic acid synthesis,
Ma'am.
cell wall synthesis. So bacteriostatic drug. It is used in the combination with other drug to prevent the resistance. And the most common side effect is the optic neuritis. And route of administration is oral, distributed widely in the body, metabolized in the liver, cross the blood-brain barrier. Isoniazid is the only drug they cross the placental barrier. That's why it is tyrosine not given in pregnancy. They cross the blood-brain barrier. So given in the meningitis, excreted and urine.
Hello, ma'am.
Mainly the optic neuritis.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Here we have finished the lecture.
Thank you so much.